it twice.
The time by Jamaica Mountain Peak Golden Turmeric Latte is
12 p.m.
It's Thursday, May 9, 2024. Welcome to CVM News at noon. I'm Nika Lewis. Hoteliers are concerned about the future of their businesses as some of their clients have hinted that they will not be revisiting their resorts due to water shortage. Chair of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association Negril Chapter, Karen Latigan, says it's now a serious issue in the tourism sector.
Well, the water crisis has affected the resorts financially because we are now having to buy water, truck water. Many of us have, well, our tanks got low, and some persons unfortunately actually ran out of water, and the guests got the brunt of that. What happens is the guests haven't stopped coming because of the water issue, but they're saying they're thinking about not coming back again because they had a negative experience while they were here. And usually these are the guests that are returning guests that come every year. But when we can't guarantee water in our accommodations for them, it's hard for them to decide if they're going to come back to Jamaica or not. It's a big question for them because water is life.
Now, the Registrar General's Department, the RGD, has announced its upgrade with birth certificates now available in Braille. The Jamaica Society for the Blind, JSB, counted this as a win for the disabled community of overcoming, a barrier in their level of accessibility in the country. Executive Director at JSB, Conrad Harris, was the first person to receive a copy of the freshly printed Braille document on May 1. Now, in light of National Education Week, the Ministry of Education is highlighting its ongoing transformation project, which was developed to boost the education sector. Speaking on Sunrise this morning, Ministry of Education Permanent Secretary Dr. Kassan Troop says our students need some encouragement.
The ultimate is really to achieve our 2030 vision.
Right.
We want Jamaica to be a place of choice, to live, to do businesses, to raise families. That's the ultimate.
Right.
But to get there, we have to move with improvements in our performance. Our students need to give us, or we need to be satisfied that the outputs and the outcomes will lead us to the vision that we want for this country. Right now, we are not there. I can tell you that the latest data set tells us that we have 31% of our students leaving our high schools with 5 or more CXCs, including math and English.
Right.
That's unacceptable. That's not something as a country we can sit and just be proud of. We have to put the work in, and that's what the program over these 8 years that we're working on will try to achieve. We want to move that 31% to a minimum of 80%, because we know as educators you will have special education needs, and so in the normal scheme of things, you won't have everybody performing at the same level.
Right.
But for those students who need special support, we want them to be maximized as well.
Right. Still on schools, recent acts of violence in schools have prompted discussions on what could be the root cause for the uproar among students. Speaking on Lead Story yesterday, National President of the Jamaica Association of Guidance Counselors in Education, Rashina Anderson, says one factor is that the students' minds are overloaded with information they are not yet ready for.
The truth is, violence in schools is not new. It has always been around. We are seeing more because of the exposure and the children being able to carry their phones to school and so forth. But the truth is as well, since COVID-19, from a guidance counselor's perspective, we would have seen some increase in maladaptive behaviors right across the spectrum, with children being exposed to pornography during a school day. You know, they're watching that. They're now exposed to their various games that promotes violence and killing and so forth. So our children are far more exposed now than before. So yes, we're seeing it more. It has always existed, but there is an increase. And so if a child is exposed to some information too early, it does affect their mental abilities and their processing of how they take in that information. We must understand that learned behavior is a great part of the nature-nurture process for a child.
Commanding officer of the Trelawney Police Division, DSP Winston Milton, is cracking down on school violence, especially after a troubling incident in Clarkstown recently. He's alarmed by the rising trend of student violence nationwide and is determined to address it swiftly.
This is an intervention with students of this high school after a display of violence in the square of Clarkstown last Friday. We consider it important to intervene early in order to prevent an escalation of this kind of deviant behavior. We believe that the address to the student population was well received, and ultimately we are hoping that this will provoke a change in behavior, particularly the behavior for students when they depart the school compound. We will continue our partnership with the academic fraternity here at the school and other schools within the parish with a view of ensuring that we reduce the level of truancy that now exists.
Now, after decades without piped water, residents in the rural space of Colleyville are calling for better water supply and road conditions in their communities. Their protest drew the attention of their councillor, who says plans are in place to assist them. Trisha Gay Kelly has this one.
Yet another plea for better roads and reliable water supplies, this time in Colleyville, Manchester. Frustrated residents took their words to the streets Wednesday morning to highlight what they say has long caused them to suffer: no road and no piped water. The protest was a joint effort from members of various neighboring communities. One resident explains it's been years and yet no one has addressed the issue.
We want road and water and dams for Colleyville. Near surround pipe, that we need. In our community. Go right down to Muirhead, we want road and water. The councillor don't do nothing for we boy. Mr. Sean don't do nothing for we boy. He don't go and win election and then he just gone. We want road and water in our community.
The word seemed to have spread far, since even the former People's National Party PNP councillor caretaker Gary Rowe showed up to the gathering. Sharing the residents' sentiments, he's calling for accountability after the Prime Minister and candidates visited the area right before the local government elections in February.
On that tour, he was on the roof of his vehicle. He could have seen everything. He could have seen everything, and since then, he has not made a statement that he came to North East Manchester and this is going to be done about North East now. We the people, we stand together and we are calling on the Prime Minister, the Member of Parliament and the Councillor.
And someone did show up. Jamaica Labour Party councillor for the Craighead Division, Omar Miller, explains the National Works Agency NWA started working on the roads. However, procurement protocols have left a part of the project incomplete. With over $200 million already spent, he's appealing to the NWA to fast-track the project. And regarding water, the three-term councillor says the communities currently benefit from the Moravia water catchment, a system from the 70s.
There is also a program in place to expand on that program to have this facility that we have up here now, which would normally pump the water and then it gravity feed to the community. It is a massive project, and I'm hoping that this dispensation from the government will attract and will be a part of it.
Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
We're up on a quick break, but the news at noon continues in just a moment.
Yummy is in Western Jamaica to celebrate more of our teachers with the Yummy Champion of Change Awards. First stop, Falmouth All Age in Trelawney.
Yummy Champions of Change Award presented to Principal Kirk Spence.
Thank you, Yummy.
Our next stop is Anchovy Primary in the parish of St. James to award Principal Cheryl Grant Mitchell.
I am grateful. The team is just as grateful.
On to Calvo Technical High in Hanover to see Principal Godfrey Brown.
It's a very pleasant surprise to be getting this recognition and gifts from Yomi.
Thank you, Yomi.
Principal at Godfrey Stewart High, Westmoreland, Emily Lawrence Ricketts, was moved to tears. Thank you so much.
Happy Teacher's Day from Yomi Montego Bay.
Get ready! The best ever international meet to be staged in Jamaica. The inaugural Jamaica Athletics Invitational, a World Continental Tour Silver with a star-studded cast of international and local stars. Saturday, May 11, 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the National Stadium. Featuring the Olympic champion Hansel Parchment, former world champion Fred Curley, British record holder Zarnell Hughes, rising triple jump sensation Jaden Hibbert, Kyron McMaster, and Kristen Coleman, two-time world champion Danielle Williams, former world champion Dina Asher Smith, world record holder Toby Amusa, world championship medalist Shanika Ricketts, Marie-José Talou, St. Lucian Hot Shot, Julian Alfred, Nia Ali, Rochelle Clayton, Kemba Nelson, plus a surprise entertainment package never seen before in Jamaica.
Welcome back to our discussion segment. Now, the Jamaica Apex Court, the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council, the JCPC, is changing how it handles appeals. Yes, it says it wants to reduce the number of cases it has to deal with. And so the UK-based High Court is introducing a new rule called the Review of Merits Appeal. Now, this means that instead of having all the judges looking at an appeal, only one will check if it's worth considering. To shed some light on the implications and significance of this change, we're now being joined by legal expert Dr. Lloyd Barnett. Welcome, Dr. Barnett.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Now, Dr. Barnett, please explain for us in simple terms what the Review of Merits Appeal rule proposed by the JCPC entails and what it means, therefore, for appellants seeking justice.
Well, you say proposed, but as far as I know, that rule has existed for a few months now. That has been brought into effect without any consultation with the countries which still have the Privy Council as its final court of appeal. In fact, I'm aware of an appeal from Trinidad in which a ruling has already been made that the appeal is without merit by a single member of the Privy Council. So that this is something which has been implemented already without any consultation with our governments, and it affects our constitutional rights because in our constitution, certain matters give you a right of appeal to the Council, to our Majesty in Council. And this is really reducing the right which is given by our Constitution.
What, therefore, does it mean for appellants who are seeking justice? I know you mentioned it was without consultation, so does that have any more implications for countries like Jamaica?
No, it just means that if you send an appeal there, a single judge, who may be the most junior judge in the Privy Council, may not even be a regular member of the panel, who is assigned this task and say that there is no merit in the appeal. And, it clearly has a great impact upon the constitutional rights which you previously enjoyed.
Well, since we're in this aspect of the discussion, pray tell if you could elaborate about the constitutional implications. And just before we get to that, how different is the merit-based appeal procedure different from the judicial appeal procedure?
Well, both are judicial appeals. You call it merit-based because what it is saying is that the appeal has no merit. And what has happened is that it has been sent to a single judge, probably by the clerk of the Privy Council, who thinks that it should be so treated. So he refers it to a single judge. of the Privy Council who decides that it has no merit. And so it will be dismissed by reason of the decision by that single judge.
All right. Well, Dr. Barnett, if you could just allow us, we're on a quick break and we'd like to discuss more of the implications and benefits, if any, to be had from this major change by the JCPC after the break. So do stay with us.
Truth is, you can live life to the fullest with HIV. This time signal is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The time is
12:15. Hey, how was school?
It was really good, but I'm really hungry. Can we get some juicy patties?
Sure we can. I never see a boil up patty like you.
Hey son, you good?
No, Dad, I'm starving. Can we get some juicy patties?
Celebrating moms everywhere.
Hi, I'm Celine Gordon, host of Holy Road.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy John Mark Wigan, host on the show Holy Road. Listen, people need to know what's happening in the churches and in ministry in all of Jamaica. It's an absolute blessing. We're really excited to share this.
Tune in to CVM. See it happen.
Our days get a little complex sometimes. Often so many things make sense, yet so many do not. We are being intentional about giving prominence to the big stories in order to clarify and enlighten. Lead Story explains who, what, when, where, why, and how. Lead Story with George Davis, weekdays at 6:30 p.m. on CVM TV.
Welcome back to CVM News at noon. We are discussing some changes that recently took place as per the UK-based Privy Council, Jamaica's final court of appeal, and we have dissecting those changes with us. He is on the phone. He is none other than constitutional attorney and scholar, Dr. Lloyd Barnett. Welcome back, Dr. Barnett.
Okay, thank you.
We talked just now ahead of the break about some constitutional implications. Would you mind shedding light on a few of those?
Well, it is fairly simple that our Constitution regards the constitutional provisions as so important that it gives a right to appeal to the highest court on constitutional questions. It's not in the discretion of the court. When you go to the Court of Appeal and ask for leave to appeal to the Privy Council, it's a formality if it deals with certain things. And that includes disputes in relation to constitutional questions. And what I'm saying is that this modifies that constitutional right because it says that a single judge of the Privy Council can say that there is no merit in that appeal, and it is dismissed on that basis.
I don't know if you had a chance to examine some of the potential advantages or disadvantages of this rule change, but what would you say are the most potent ones, the ones that jump out automatically to you?
Well, there's no doubt about it, is that your right of appeal has been greatly modified. So the disadvantage is clear that your appeal will now be treated in a very summary way, as distinct from previously when you had the right to a full hearing, and so that it will be disposed of on paper by this ruling that it has no merit. There are cases in which when an appeal begins, the judge thinks there's no merit, and at the end, they come to the view that there's merit, so that